Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Jacqueline and today we're talking about all things Art Deco. Now, all of January I was ill because I caught the flu whilst having a crazy New Year's Eve in Edinburgh city centre. I'm Scottish, so what are you gonna do? But that meant that a lot of my time was spent recovering on the sofa, alongside none other than the famous Belgian detective, that is Hercule Poirot. The BBC version with David Suchet, of course. However, whilst watching it, I noticed so many buildings that were showcased in the series were icons of Art Deco Britain. The TV adaptation really is a love letter to the design and architecture of the 1930s. And it made me realise that we hardly ever see these buildings anymore, let alone showcased on film and TV. It really inspired me actually and made me realise how iconic this style actually is. I've always loved Art Deco design, but that same week where I was ill, Associated Press came out with this article and naturally I took it as a sign to make a video on the matter. If you're here, I'm sure that you already have a basic understanding of what it is. A design movement that emerged in the 1920s and 30s that we all associate with geometry, glamour, flappers, jazz and lavishness. The visual art style is defined by its bold symmetry, clean lines, and rich decorative details that exudes both elegance and dynamism. Emerging in the aftermath of World War I, it was a time when Hollywood's golden age flourished, flapper culture redefined fashion, and cities embraced bold, futuristic aesthetics. And although it's not technically classed in the modernism movement, I would argue that it was the catalyst and it served as the foundation for modernism later to come. Also, I think it's fair to say that a lot of modernist designers and architects started out in the Art Deco era of design. It was the 1925 Paris International Exhibition of Modern Decorative and Industrial Arts that made the initial Art Deco craze spread across the world. It did, however, start in France in 1858 as Art Décoratif. It emerged as a response to the ornate, flowing lines of Art Nouveau and the growing influence of modern industrialization. Rooted in French luxury craftsmanship and decorative arts, Art Deco combined elegance, precision, and innovation, making it one of France's most influential artistic exports. At its birth between 1910 and 1914, Art Deco was an explosion of colours featuring bright and often clashing hues, frequently in floral designs, not quite what we envision when Art Deco comes to mind. It later on drew inspiration from Cubism, Futurism and the Machine Age, resulting in a style that felt both futuristic and streamlined. And the first landmark Art Deco building was completed in Paris in 1913, the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées. Both the exterior and interiors of the theatre were revolutionary. The facade was decorated with angular high reliefs by Antoine Bourdelle, an intricate dome and an Art Deco curtain and paintings. The theatre really represented the transition from Art Nouveau to Art Deco, influencing the development of streamlined, elegant design in architecture across France and beyond. Although it may have originated in Paris in the 1910s and been showcased to the world in 1925, it was deeply influenced by African motifs later on, transforming it into the style we associate it with today. In 1922, explorers discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun in the Valley of the Kings, which led to the Tutmania craze around the world. Agatha Christie herself made numerous trips to Egypt during that time period. It was the first time an intact royal tomb filled with invaluable material had been discovered. And the result of this discovery was some of the most iconic buildings, interiors, jewellery design and product design in the 1920s and 30s. Like on the elevator door inside the Chrysler building, which was based on the Egyptian papyrus flower. In January 1924, the jeweller Cartier placed a full-colour advertisement in the Illustrated London News featuring Egyptian-inspired jewels. The silver screen was also quick to build Art Deco cinemas in the exotic Egyptian revival taste. And it was really through Hollywood and the silver screen that Art Deco entered the imaginations and dreams of millions. Of course, during this time, Hollywood became the centre of filmmaking, when silent films and later the talkies created a cinematic boom, what we now call the Golden Age. And coincidentally, this was during the Art Deco design era, which is why so many cinemas were built in this iconic style. The architectural firm of Meyer and Holler were hired to design Grauman's Egyptian Theatre on Hollywood Boulevard, and it was built to showcase new films like The Ten Commandments and Cecil B. DeMille's Cleopatra. And of course, there's one of the most interesting buildings in London, to me personally, which is the old Carreras cigarette factory, which is innately Art Deco with Egyptian influences. As someone who grew up just outside of London, it's safe to say I've been to London countless times, and I can tell you that that building is unlike any other in the city. It really stands out across the cityscape when you compare it to the classic Victorian, Georgian and Edwardian buildings you commonly see. Because of Egyptomania, I believe that's why we can see so much symmetry in Art Deco design, as well as those geometric, repetitive patterns like that of hieroglyphics. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's also where the use and abundance of gold stems from as well. It can be seen through architecture, product design, fashion, nautical design, cars, and even everyday objects like a vacuum. The movement was a dazzling celebration of modernity, luxury, and geometric precision, shaping everything from high-end interiors to film sets and cementing its place as a symbol of elegance, creativity, and the exuberance of the Jazz Age. Architecturally speaking, Art Deco is incredibly unique in the sense that now it would be considered an older, bygone design style, and yet at the time it was considered ultra-modern, futuristic even. Common architectural features include stepped or ziggurat-like facades, often seen in skyscrapers and monumental buildings, emphasizing height and grandeur. Geometric ornamentation, such as zigzags, chevrons, and sunburst motifs. Use of luxurious materials like gold, marble, and lacquer. Streamlined and aerodynamic forms. Integration of modern technology and materials. And of course, ornamentation inspired by ancient cultures. The buildings frequently have flat roofs with parapets, rounded corners, and horizontal bands that suggest motion, particularly in structures like cinemas, hotels, and train stations. Some cities that I think highlight fantastic Art Deco architecture are, of course, New York City, Miami, two American cities with completely different Art Deco essences. Paris, of course, the birthplace of Art Deco. In Asia, Mumbai and Singapore, Los Angeles for that old Hollywood golden age feel, and Buenos Aires and Casablanca. Of course, there's many other places as well. Even here in London, I live in Edinburgh. Anyway, even in London, you can see Art Deco buildings, but I would say in the UK, they're mainly spread across the coastline. Which is why I probably personally associate Art Deco with the beach, which might be really strange to you guys because you often associate Art Deco with cities, right? During the interwar period, British seaside resorts flourished as more people took holidays. It was the style chosen to transform British seaside resorts for a new age of mass tourism as the 1938 Holidays with Pay Act came into fruition. The government promoted domestic tourism, and the railway network made coastal towns extremely accessible. Seaside towns embraced Art Deco for their piers, lidos, and amusement parks, aiming to modernise leisure facilities. The modern glamorous look of Art Deco was ideal for attracting visitors to hotels, cinemas, and entertainment venues. And coincidentally, many of the BBC Poirot's series episodes featured these iconic Art Deco landmarks as their filming locations, such as the Berg Island Hotel, which has been restored in all of its Art Deco glory. Art Deco architecture, with its bold geometric forms and streamlined symmetry, sets the foundation for interiors. That being said, let's move on to the colours of Art Deco. I already mentioned when it was first created, it was overly colourful, as shown in the Salon d'Automne exhibition in 1910. However, over time, it's moved away from that and focuses now on the opulent side of the style. Deep, rich jewel tones accompanied with rich metals is what's become synonymous to the style. Shades to include in your scheme are emerald green, mustard yellow, sapphire blue, ruby red, and amethyst purple, often paired with metallic accents in gold, silver, chrome, or brass to enhance the sense of opulence. Again, drawing inspiration from ancient Egypt, do you see the parallels? The lavish and glittery treasures found in the tomb appeal to the bold opulence and excesses of the period's consumeristic and pleasure-seeking attitude. Contrasting black and white schemes are also iconic, creating a dramatic high-contrast effect that highlights the movement's geometric patterns and lines. Now, we can't mention Art Deco without the mention of patterns. If I were to pick one thing that symbolises Art Deco design, it would be the pattern work. Historically, these would have been seen structurally on building facades, ironwork, and the like. Nowadays, these have been moved in a much more easily crafted way through wallpaper, soft fabrics, and even lighting. Some of the most common patterns you'll see throughout the design style are the sunburst pattern, chevron, zigzag, fan motifs, the Greek key, stepped forms, streamlined waves, and deco diamonds. I recommend using one of these patterns as the starting point of your design scheme. Patterns can also be seen subtly through straw marquetry. This technique intricately arranges thin strips of straw to create patterns and designs on surfaces. It is actually a craft that dates back to ancient Egypt. Surprise, surprise. I recommend this type of material for those of you who aren't wild on the excessive patterns mentioned beforehand. The woven texture still creates a pattern but doesn't go overboard. Texturally, this is one of the more high-end design styles. The use of high-end materials underscores the opulence of Art Deco interior design. Chrome, stainless steel, glass, lacquer, vellum, and exotic woods like ebony and mahogany, along with rich fabrics including silk and velvet, are most definitely included. Lacquered wood and high-gloss finishes were often used for furniture and paneling, reflecting light and adding to the sleek, polished aesthetic. Additionally, mirrored surfaces and glass added a reflective quality and brightness to any space, and it really made the interiors spacious and sophisticated. These materials enhance the space's openness, and adding a glamorous, polished touch throughout, mirrored furniture, decorative panels, and sleek glass detailing. For flooring, polished marble and veining became a hallmark, while chrome and brass were incorporated through furniture legs, light fixtures, and decorative accents. Gemstones such as onyx, jade, lapis lazuli, and malachite were used in decorative inlays, furniture, and accessories to introduce vibrant hues and intricate patterns. These marble and stone finishes reinforce the sleek high-end aesthetic of Art Deco interiors, often appearing in contrasting black and white designs to create striking visual effects. In terms of bathrooms or kitchens, fan tiling or scale tiling is perfect to achieve that modern Art Deco look. The tiling creates a sense of elegance and bold geometry, typical of the style's emphasis on luxurious and striking designs. Their rich, deep colours like midnight blue, seaweed green, or black, contrasted by highlights of gold, silver, or ivory, creates a dynamic yet sophisticated look. These particularly remind me of the papyrus flower-inspired Art Deco motif. Complete the space with marble countertops, dynamic patterning from either wallpaper or art, and of course an Art Deco sink, which is actually an Edwardian style sink. Creating that Art Deco atmosphere becomes a lot easier once you start to add furniture to the design. Two designers that had a hold on Art Deco furniture at the time were Jean-Michel Frank and Émile Jacques Ruhlmann. Both Frank and Ruhlmann's designs can be purchased today still, but lots of interpretations are also available on the market too. Some other examples of Art Deco furniture are club chairs, chaise longue, tub chairs, cantilever chairs, cocktail tables, vanity tables, ziggurat bed frames, wardrobes with inlays, particularly with a sunburst pattern, symmetrical sideboards, gold and marble tables, scroll-type console tables, a U-based coffee table, French display cabinets, shell-back sofas, or my favourite, a cloud sofa. Look for strong geometric patterns, sunburst motifs, and high-gloss surfaces to bring that glamorous vintage feel into your space. Whether you're going full Gatsby, or you just want to add a touch of vintage charm to your space, I think that Art Deco furniture instantly elevates any interior inspired by that Art Deco era. And I think it's because Art Deco furniture was so unique for its time. If you've made it this far and you're new to the channel, I just want to welcome you here. We talk about all things interior design, home decor, graphic design, art, and even architecture, so if any of those things interest you, feel free to stick around. Now, Art Deco home decor accessories are all about glamour, symmetry, and bold statement pieces. To achieve this iconic style, incorporate mirrored trays, metallic vases, sunburst wall art and mirrors, mirrored wall panels, lacquered trays, panther motifs or sculptures, painted vases, and decorative folding screens. Crystal decanters and glassware alongside a cocktail set are truly Gatsby-esque, and you can just picture them in an F. Scott Fitzgerald book. Decorative ceramic or marble figurines, crystal perfume bottles, and sculptural bookends bring in vintage elegance. The glass designer René Lalique was huge during this era, so choosing some glass art would really be fitting as well. For a finishing touch, place a statement clock with stepped or sunburst designs on a console table or mantelpiece. The key is to blend luxury with symmetry, creating a space that feels effortlessly chic and timeless. In terms of lighting, don't forget to include it in the design. Lighting is often overlooked in the home, but Art Deco pieces are like little sculptures in themselves. Characterized by bold shapes and metallic finishes, these lighting fixtures often included chrome, brass, frosted glass, and sometimes crystal accents. Tiered chandeliers and fan-shaped wall sconces add a glamorous edge, while opaline glass lamps create a soft ambient glow. Ridged glass and brass sconces creates a cinematic feel. For a dramatic look, fringed table lamps add the Hollywood glamour to the space. And if you're going for a maximalist Art Deco approach, try shell wall lights for a kitschy feel. One key takeaway for home decor, I think, is to make sure that all the interior sticks to one metal type. Either silver or gold, or copper if that's what you're going for. Just don't mix them, because it's going to detract from the elegance you're trying to achieve. Most Art Deco interiors, in my opinion anyway, always look better when they stick to one metallic element. But again, that's just my opinion. Traditional Art Deco interiors are often sparse in the greenery department, but I think they can actually work really well in an Art Deco interior. With houseplants, I think go big or go home. We're not trying to create a bohemian type interior, for example, with lots of little plants. I think the greater size plant you choose, it's not going to just add greenery to the interior, but it's also going to add drama to the space. And some of my favourite houseplants for an Art Deco interior are bird of paradise, eraser palm, banana tree, Swiss cheese plants, and dracaenas. Really, any large-scale plant will work well with the grand interior. If you want flowers in your home, I really suggest orchids. They're actually my favourite flower. Not that you guys care, but still. To me, they always seemed very Art Deco, very symmetrical and ornate. They were often used in Art Deco design due to their exotic and luxurious connotations. With their intricate sculptural forms and vibrant, rare beauty, orchids effortlessly evoke the opulence and sophistication central to Art Deco design. Two artists that come to mind when we talk about Art Deco art are Tamara de Lempicka and Erte. Of course, there are many more, but these are the two that I think really showcase some of the best Art Deco work. Tamara de Lempicka is one of the leading figures of Art Deco, known for her glamorous portraits of the wealthy elite, often depicting women in bold, stylized poses. Whilst Erte's work spanned fashion, illustration and stage design, he is particularly known for his extravagant, highly stylized fashion illustrations. Frame their work in your space if you're going for a classic Art Deco design. You could also showcase Art Deco inspired architecture featuring ornate details like window designs. By incorporating architectural art and photography into an interior, you not only enhance the room's aesthetic, but also pay homage to the style's rich history. Or for something entirely different and for some lightheartedness, I really love these vintage cocktail posters. They're so much fun and cheeky. As you can imagine, after the Prohibition ended in 1933 with the repeal of the 18th Amendment, cocktail and alcohol advertisements flourished. The type of books you should have displayed should include coffee table books on art, architecture and fashion from the 1920s and 30s. Books featuring works by Art Deco artists like Tamara de Lempicka, Erte or René Lalique, or collections of vintage photography and design, anything by F. Scott Fitzgerald, P.G. Wodehouse and Agatha Christie. And I would also include historical books that delve into the Roaring Twenties and its jazz age. Unfortunately, the Great Depression and World War II ultimately brought an end to Art Deco's dominance, making way for more functional, minimalist design movements that led to postmodern architecture, which would explain why every building looks like this nowadays. What's your favourite aspect of the Art Deco era? Mine is definitely the glamour of it all. I am completely fascinated with the rise of Hollywood and I really love the old style set design. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video or leave a comment. We love reading your comments and we really appreciate it, and it really helps the channel to grow as well. And if you need help fulfilling your own design dreams, I've left our website in the description. I really hope you enjoyed the video and how to incorporate Art Deco elements into your own home. But that's it for today's video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.